This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Thursday, the new Friday, June 2nd, and today's pod is the best one yet.
TBOI. By the way, we're doing something tomorrow, right?
Are we going to do this? We're going to press your shirt. We're going to look sharp. We got this going. Let's do it.
T-Boy Live, episode 3.
Every Friday on Instagram. Jack, what time?
3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific. You can chat with us live at T-Boy Pod.
So far, never goes terribly wrong. Jack, what's our first story?
The NBA Finals begin tonight, but we noticed the NBA has a new strategy.
New strategy, $4,000 Louis Vuitton NBA ball bags.
For our second story, if you work at Tesla and you want to work from home, you're fired.
Working for Elon. It used to mean mission, now it means position.
Our third and final story is Delta Airlines. They just gave their most important update in 2 years.
Travel is officially 100% back.
But before we hit that wonderful mix of stories,
I love this mix of stories today, Jack.
pour out a pint of ale and pass the crumpets with the tea kettle.
Bollocks! Only if you honky-dory a couple quid, you cheeky bloke.
The Queen of England isn't celebrating her birthday today. She's celebrating Throne Day.
Today is Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee.
Queen Elizabeth II has been ruling the British Commonwealth for 70 years.
Jack, I'm looking at the record books here. We're talking the longest-serving monarch in all of English history.
She's had the same job since she was 25. She's the third longest-serving monarch in human history.
There we go. 1 second. I'm updating the record books.
Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of England.
Perhaps you may know her from her other role as the star of Netflix's The Crown. Hello!
Lilibet, as they call her, has been clinking glass and knight in name since 1952.
Jack, you don't measure her reign in years, you measure years in Elizabeth.
That's right. Now she and her 9 corgis and 2 thoroughbred horses, they're celebrating with a humble bowl of lemon pudding, her favorite.
And 4 days of parties across the entire nation.
She gets 4 days of party.
But Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style, and what you may not know about Queen Elizabeth's real passion is that it's driving without a license.
She was the first female British royal member to join the British military.
Yeah, during World War II, she was a mechanic truck driver rolling around in a pickup.
First order of the F-150.
Oh, and get this, Queen Elizabeth never has had a driver's license.
In fact, she has a constitutional exception. She's the only UK citizen allowed to drive without a license.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in England?
It's good to be the queen.
God save our 3 stories. Let's hit them.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, the NBA Finals begin tonight down the street in San Francisco.
But we noticed the NBA, unlike the other professional leagues, the
Yeah.
NBA is leaning into luxury.
Jack, Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics. Who you got?
Here we go. If Boston
Here we
wins,
go.
how long before Barstool has a new City of Champions t-shirt for sale?
But if the Warriors win, how long before a VC tweets a thread about the Golden State offense?
They're disrupting the basketball model.
Same strategy as the yield curve.
The NBA Finals are the showcase moment for the NBA. Nearly 20 million people watch each game.
Okay, Jack, we got the Super Bowl, Stanley Cup playoffs, World Series. What kind of commercials are we going to see in all those?
Commercials about SUVs, Budweiser, Cialis, and more SUVs in Cialis.
Now, you're going to see all those ads in the NBA games too, but you're also going to see Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's jewelry.
That's right. You're going to watch Jason Tatum play defense and then see a French luxury house play offense in between.
Boom. That's what Jack and I find fascinating about these playoffs. It appears that the NBA has a new strategy.
The NBA is reaching for rich brands. They're leaning into luxury and they're trying to outclass the other leagues.
Okay, the first thing Jack and I noticed, the NBA just hired, Tiffany's, the jewelry company.
To redesign the 6 postseason trophies, including the NBA championship trophy.
That is an aggressive move.
You can't imagine the Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy getting redesigned by a jewelry, Tiffany's kind of company.
Is this a championship trophy or is this on a wedding registry?
My dad would have a conniption if Tiffany's was in charge.
Big Ted, trigger warning.
And then we saw a broader partnership between the NBA and LVMH.
LVMH, the $350 billion publicly traded luxury group based in France. It's the biggest company in France.
Yep, LVMH's Louis Vuitton has a new luxury collection with the NBA.
We're not kidding. We jumped in T-Boy style, and from that collection, you can buy yourself a $7,000 crystal basketball hoop.
There's a bunch of clothing and a bunch of shoes, and then there's a $4,000 basketball backpack.
It's literally Gucci, because it's Gucci.
I'm not sure Shaq could afford this stuff.
The entire Milwaukee Bucks can't afford this stuff.
It's rare Tuscan cow leather by an Italian craftsman with a basketball logo slam dunking on the side.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in the fancy NBA?
Do you go attainable or aspirational?
All right, besties, Yetis, every sports league has a focus on making fans feel comfortable, feel relatable, feel attainable.
That's why the NFL is nicknamed the No Fun League. There's nothing allowed in the NFL that's going to push the limits on my dad's comfort levels.
But the NBA is different. The NBA is taking the lead from NBA players.
You've all seen LeBron and Russell Westbrook strut into the arena decked out in some incredible ensemble on their bodies.
We're about to play a game, but I'm going to stroll in a Gucci $8,000 first suit.
And then during the press conference, these guys look fantastic in whatever they're wearing.
Well, the NBA's luxury deals are defined by the player's taste, not the commissioner's taste.
Fans are unlikely to be able to afford what Russell Westbrook is wearing, but they're captivated by those $8,000 Gucci loafers.
It's so shiny. It's so different. It's so expensive. It symbolizes a life goal.
The other professional leagues want to associate themselves with attainable brands.
The NBA is aiming for aspirational. For our second story, Elon Musk just told his employees to return to the office or quit.
Tesla was about sustainability. Now Tesla is about Elon.
Okay, besties, Yetis. Every morning, Jack and I wake up. We're scanning the news headlines before the market opens. Wednesday morning, leaked email from Elon.
Is he ditching Twitter? The Twitter deal? Is he done with it?
You gonna buy Pinterest instead? Why not? Merge the two, make it a new thing.
Here's
Super
the
app?
subject line of the email that got leaked.
Here it is.
Remote work is no longer acceptable.
You got to give him credit for being direct.
It said in the email that all Tesla employees must be in the office physically at least 40 hours a week starting right now.
And if you don't show up, they're just going to assume you resigned.
That standing desk treadmill thing you erected in your home gym, home garage office situation.
Get rid of it. Kindest regards, Elon.
Then in this email to Tesla employees, Elon casually tossed shade at the companies that continue to allow work from home.
Which ironically includes Twitter, which is soon to be Elon's other side hustle company.
And we got to assume he's going to institute the same must come to the office policy at Twitter once he's in control of it.
Okay, so back it up, back it up. Here's how we're seeing this. Elon Musk is the richest person in the world, but he's also becoming the most opinionated person in the world.
Across so many controversial issues, not just remote work and work from anywhere, Elon is defining where Tesla stands.
Jack, take us back to March 2020. COVID hits. What's happening with Elon?
March 6, 2020, he tweeted that the COVID panic was dumb and predicted COVID would be over in a month.
And then he punished the state of California for its COVID lockdowns by moving the whole Tesla headquarters over to Texas.
All right, here's what else we got. Elon is a vocal opponent of unions, which has effectively got Tesla ghosted by the White House.
And now he's a champion of free speech, which is winning him the praise of conservative pundits.
And last month, he revealed he's always voted Democrat, but now he's going to start voting Republican.
Name the issue: taxation, COVID, remote work, the first Dogecoin trillionaire.
Name the issue. Elon has a huge opinion on it.
In the last 2 years, Elon has tweet stormed an aggressive public position on all of it. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies hanging out over at Tesla?
Tesla used to be defined by Elon's vision. Now it's defined by Elon's position.
Besties and Yetis, we first understood the brilliance of Elon when we read his master plan published back in 2006.
Before all of Tesla and Elon's success, This master plan showed exactly how Tesla would accelerate the world's path to sustainable energy.
Tesla was on a global mission for the planet.
But now, no company is more defined by one person's worldview than Tesla is by Elon's.
And today, Elon's worldview is focused on public, pretty controversial stances on just about everything.
Tesla used to be on a global mission. Now Tesla is on Elon's mission.
Tesla's not about Elon's vision anymore. It's about Elon's positions. And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
Nick, you got introduced to the Robinhood app the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah, I did. My girlfriend, now wife's older brother, who was that guy who worked in tech and knew about the next iPhone before Apple did.
He told you about the Robinhood app?
He told me about the Robinhood app.
All right, so you signed up because you wanted to buy a stock.
Because it was hard to figure out how to buy a stock when you're 25 and it's 2014.
Yeah, back then you had to find a broker, call a broker on the phone,
Call them.
pay a commission to that broker.
Instead of calling, suddenly there's this app. You just swipe and you could buy the stock.
Robinhood's interface felt as easy as ordering an Uber or snagging a sandwich on Seamless.
And it still is. So if you're not a Robinhood user yet and you want to get started, you can go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and you can choose, get this, a free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Certain limitations apply and all investments involve risk.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Robinhood, by the way, no longer affiliated with us or the podcast. For our third and final story, Delta just passed the most important milestone in airline history.
Delta has 100% climbed out of the COVID flying hole.
And Bastion, they are back, baby. Okay, Besties and Yetis, did either of these two things happen to you last weekend, by the way?
Did you pay too much for a flight?
That's one.
And was your flight delayed?
The answer is likely to be yes and yes.
Yeah, travel disaster this summer.
Yeah, Delta also just announced that ticket prices are up 30%, and yet we're all still paying it.
We're all still revenge traveling.
It was a tough weekend for travel. But the real news, the real shocker here that Jack and I saw, it has to do with Delta's numbers.
Delta is back to pre-pandemic passenger levels.
We repeat, it's been 2 years of everyone talking about how no one's even close to being back to traveling. Yeah.
Do you remember early in the pandemic, we recognized how bad the economy was by the number of travelers not passing through the TSA checkpoints?
Right. In April 2020, it dropped to just 4% of normal travelers going through TSA checkpoints.
If on a normal day, 20 passengers were going through the checkpoint, taking off their shoes and removing their laptops from their bags, in April 2020, it was one person doing that.
I still have to take this out?
Yeah, I'm the only one on the plane. Do I really have to take my shoes off?
April 2020, 4% of the number of people who should be on that plane were on that plane.
Air travel was so low in 2020
So low
that more people took the New York City subway than flew on an airplane in all of the country.
Yeah, the pandemic was the worst shock to the airline industry in history, or at least since 9/11.
But for Delta, they just announced yesterday at their Investor Day, they're 100% back to 2019 pre-pandemic normal levels of business.
Delta is rebounding like a young Dennis Rodman.
After 2.5 years, the worst crisis for airlines in decades, Delta is back to first class.
Now, Jack and I should point out that there are fewer business travelers who are up there enjoying is it a massage chair? It looks like a massage chair.
But I guess there's more vacationers to offset that, paying higher price to fly to Orlando with their family.
Orlando, it's going to cost you. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Delta?
If you build it, we will spend.
Okay, Besties and Yetis, that was shocking. But the real surprise that Jack and I saw on Investor Day was one number, $12 billion.
Delta is spending $12 billion over the next decade on their airport hubs.
That's like 2 lifts. Oh, LaGuardia Airport, for example, in New York City, consistently ranked the worst airport in the United States for forever years in a row.
Well, LaGuardia got a multi-billion-dollar makeover. It reopened yesterday, and Delta was right there front and center at the ribbon-cutting ceremony.
There's actually food at LaGuardia now, and Delta was there to serve it. Not Auntie Anne's, but we'll take it.
It's the worst sales drop Delta's experienced and the highest cost jump because of oil prices. And look what Delta's doing.
And yet, despite all that, Delta is spending $12 billion so you can have spa water in a lounge by gate 28B before you check onto the plane.
The revenge travel that's jamming up the airports, but which Delta's loving right now, it may not last.
But Delta believes if they build it, we will spend.
If you build seats with more legroom, we'll spend there too. Just putting it out there.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the new Friday?
As the NBA Finals tip off, the NBA's luxury makeover is revealed.
Attainable or aspirational? The NBA chooses aspirational.
For our second story, Tesla employees were just told by their CEO that remote work is completely unacceptable.
Tesla used to be defined by Elon's visions. Now it's defined by Elon's positions.
Our third and final story is Delta. Their revenues are back to pre-pandemic flying levels.
Delta believes if they build it, we will spend. Will we? Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Rashil Mehta, who's from Mumbai, India, but is now working in New York City.
Hyundai. It's pronounced Hyundai, like
It's
Sunday.
Hyundai. Well done. Well done.
It's
an
the
audio
South
product.
Korean
I'm glad
car
we nailed
company.
it.
They make
Yeah.
a fine product, actually.
They make a fine product. And if you're looking at or in a Hyundai right now, you'll notice that the logo, it looks like an H.
It
because
looks like an
Hyundai-
H, but it actually signifies something more meaningful than just a letter.
It's actually not even an H at all.
It signifies two individuals opposite each other,
Yeah.
reaching in, shaking hands.
The sides of the H are two people. And then the connection in the H is actually the handshake.
And the handshake is one individual buying a car and the car salesperson selling the car.
And if you get really close to that logo and you get really close, you can almost hear them saying, "What do I got to do to get you into this Hyundai?" Besties and Yetis, you look fantastic today. And if you haven't yet, turn to a buddy and say, "Hey, HYHTBOY.
What do I gotta do to get you to listen to this pod?
This is how we grow the pod with you, the Besties and Yetis. Jack and I will see you tomorrow. And before we go, congrats to Cheryl from Menlo Park for leaving Meta after 15 years.
And happy 20th to Kyle Schur in Madison, Wisconsin.
And Bobby the Frenchie Bulldog, who's turning 7 over in San Francisco.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
And Jersey Frederick, happy birthday down in Sarasota, Florida.
Happy 25th to Bryce Badura, who can now rent a car in San Francisco.
And Hasagawa, happy 54th over in Tokyo, Japan.
Happy birthday to Romy in New York City.
And Neil, happy 30th up in Toronto.
Happy birthday to Natalia Hamilton, who happens to be moving to Austin, hasn't quite set everything up, sleeping on a blow-up mattress. Good luck.
Mattress. Evan Lord, congrats on graduating from Morris Catholic High School.
Good luck and happy moving to Amanda and Michael and their dog, Franklin, moving to Colorado.
And Pyle, congrats on the new dream job at a hospital in Illinois.
And Dan Adadaran has reached parity between the US dollar and the euro because he's got a new job in FX sales at a New York City bank.
Couldn't have converted it better.
And big congrats to Mary Siri, who just started a new job as a sales rep at Paycom on Long Island, New York.
Strong Island.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Robinhood.
And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
The first time I tried to buy a stock, I got burned badly.
Is this when you wanted to buy a share of Ford because you like the chassis over in Detroit?
Yes, I had $200, so I bought $200 of Ford stock. I didn't get $200 of Ford stock, though. I got $192.
The commission fees.
By the time the stock climbed back to $200, I sold it. But again, I didn't get $200. I got $192 again.
Another commission fee.
The stock rose 8%, but I was down on my investment.
Because commission fees made small money investing impossible.
So Robinhood came in and killed commission fees.
And commissions are still dead in stock and crypto trading thanks to our sponsor.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose a free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Certain limitations apply. For a list of other fees, view their fee schedule at rbnhd.co/fees.
All investments involve risk. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Oh, and by the way, Robinhood is no longer affiliated with us or the podcast.
And the stocks Jack just said are for illustrative purposes only and are not recommendations. This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Thursday, the real Friday, June 2nd, and today's... Sorry, I messed up the wrong date.
Yeah, you
Oh,
did
it is
mess
June
that
2nd.
up. Good thing I got it.
Yeah.
Would you have continued if you hadn't seen my glare?
You're like a little pixelated, and I could sense there was something wrong in the universe.